you came out as a gay traveller.
Yeah.
And like you've spoken before on this show and many other shows about the discrimination you've experienced. And you've been very outspoken about that. Is it important that you use the platform you've now got to talk about that?
I mean, it's, first of all, like, I always try to talk about individuality and diversity in my community. So if I'm always just speaking about the fact that I'm a traveller, it sort of contradicts my original message where I'm like, everybody just be yourself and don't be typecasted, because like 0.8% of the population in Britain and Ireland is travellers. So there's not many allies or much representation for travellers. And it's a lot of the time it's very negative. Like the statistics of travellers people don't even understand is like 50% of travellers die by the age of 39. Wow. Like if that was any other ethnic minority, that'd be like worldwide news. And like, you know, 2 years ago, they done a survey, and Senator Eileen Flynn, who's an Irish traveller, and we were all in Clareburn recently, and I felt like I was forward thinking and understood a lot, and she taught me so much. And she said they done a survey and asked employers if they'd employ a member of the travelling community just based on that, not qualifications, nothing. And 83% of employers in Ireland who took part in the survey anonymously said they wouldn't employ an Irish traveller. So how do you make a change and stuff? So I do try to speak out about stuff, and also internal stigma within the community, like, because I feel like it's almost like one generation behind. I was raised kind of how my non-traveller friends' parents were. Do you know what I mean? So like in general, from like my experiences, I feel like that, like on topics like sexuality, sex in general, relationships, and like bits and pieces like that, I just feel like it's one generation behind slightly.
That's
so it's good to have representation of it, but I'm also just Hughie, I'm my own person. Do you know what I mean? So.
And when you were growing up, you said like you almost felt like a minority within a minority.
Yeah.
Like, how did you negotiate that struggle? Like,
I don't know how I did. Probably why when people says it loves a bit of limelight and a bit of crack with that, maybe in some ways one of the reasons why I like doing reality shows and stuff is like, I feel like, first of all, like, I love to meet people. I love to learn about other backgrounds, because I always felt very singled and on my own, sort of, if I'm honest. And it kind of created probably a bit of an identity crisis in some ways that I've learned now, like in my later side of my 20s, because to non-travellers, I was a traveller, and then to travellers, I was the gay one or the weird one, or I was this or that. And I just tried to be myself. So I don't know, it just took a while to do that. So that's probably, it shows you how dramatic some parts of my life was when I thought getting away from home to like a bit of peace and quiet and experience was to go into Big Brother house and 90 cameras. So it shows you how bizarre my life has been,
Wow.
I don't know. So maybe that's what I was supposed to do, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. But you're that one voice that start speaking out. And it's had a rippling effect.
For sure.
Yeah, so you're saying there's a generation that you feel just won't change, and they've got a safe zone and that's where they want to stay.
Yeah.
But there's another generation, your generation, and the next one down, that you know, are willing to change and are willing to listen.
You have to integrate to learn. Like, I went to, obviously, like public state school, and normally you have like 30 people in your class, obviously because of like funding and whatever.
Yeah.
But we were so lucky in my Leaving Cert class, there was only 10 of us, so we got a lot of teacher attention. And as great as our teachers were, we learned so much from each other because it was so diverse. Like, I was a traveller. I remember the girl that was a lesbian, with a girl in my class from Mauritius, with a boy that was black. I had a girl in my class with a baby at 15. Wow. So she was a very young mum. So we learned so much from one another. And I feel like that left me quite forward thinking within my community and stuff, definitely. But, you know, like the people who are of a certain generation, I'm happy to leave them in their times and whatever. Like my grandparents, I don't expect them to change all that they've known. So there should be more conversation of being respectful of traveller culture also. You wouldn't expect somebody who's a Muslim to go to a school and be taught all about the Catholic religion because we're respecting who they are. So why can't we do that for travellers also? Because I think there's a lot of disrespect for that. But I do think our younger generations definitely has to move forward and evolve and change, just like non-travellers did years ago in Ireland.
Okay. You talk about how, like, you have spoken out about being gay and what followed in your own community with that. So what else needs to change for other LGBTQ plus people?
I think there needs to be more conversation about it, for sure. And I do think within our community, our resources, such as our travellers' rights organisations, needs to have a lot more campaigns and a lot more funding and conversations for the individuality within our community and there has to be a lot more voices. Do you know what I mean? So if you feel like you have somebody, if you feel like you're not alone, because you know as teenagers, everything is to be popular and to have friends, and you know how much rubbish that is when you get older. You have about 3 friends, really. But if you just feel like you have somebody you can talk to, that it really is a problem solved, like it's a problem halved at least. And just have a lot more conversation about it and put more into that rather than just suppression or things that are against travellers. Look at the issues within our community. And I actually think if we actually help that, we'll really help broader society to understand travellers more, because we're putting so much out there, diversity out there, that it'll just change people's opinion, but I don't know. We'll see.